everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I'll be sharing with you 6 things I wish I knew before I became a lawyer. Let's dive into it. Number 1, that the focus should be on experience and not money. Before I became a lawyer, I was expecting, I've shared it in some of my videos, that I was expecting a huge sum of money as my first salary. And however, I was quite disappointed because I got the sum of 20,000 naira far back as 2019. That is about 7 years ago. Yeah, so that was the amount I received as my first salary, and this was because I was disappointed because I had so much hope on getting something reasonable, let's say from 100 to 150 way back as that time, because then I had it in mind that I want to finishing from law school. I had it in mind like, okay, I want to focus on my practice. I want to be a known lawyer in Nigeria. I just have a lot of things in my head, and at that time I was already saving up to acquire a land. So I was thinking from my first salary I would bring out some amount and put it into that investment. However, I was disappointed. So it all means that you need to focus on experience first, because it's until when you have that experience, when you can give people value, when someone can come to you and brief you about family law or any area of law that you specialize in, and you can render that value, that is when you can make the money. Just imagine somebody coming out of law school that we believe in a village in Nigeria. So how do you want to give value to someone when you don't even know how to go about that practice? The fact that you spent a year at the Nigerian law school doesn't mean you know everything about how law operates in Nigeria. Fine, you know the law, but what about the procedure? You need to come out of law school and start learning the procedure, even though a part of it will be taught at the Nigerian law school. So it all means that you need to focus more on experience. Money is very important. It is very vital. As a lawyer, you need to get some nice outfits to go to wear to court. You also, if possible, from first year of practice, there is nothing stopping a lawyer from owning a car, because that helps us carry your wig and gown. Like a lady like myself, I love to wear heels when I'm in court because I'm petite. So imagine carrying heels, and it is just better that you have the money to acquire a car. So, but however, you still need to focus on experience. When you gather that experience, you'll be able to give value to people, and people can pay you for that value. Number 2 is that I do not need to be a litigation lawyer. Many people like myself are not aware that there are other aspects of law that you don't need to wear a wig and gown and go to court. Or probably if you go to court, it will be very not often. Litigation lawyers virtually every day of the week they go to court. There are some other aspects of law that people just sit in their office, draft documents, meetings and things like that, and they still make a lot of money. But people were more focused on litigation. So I didn't get to understand that litigation is not the only aspect of law. So it's later in this profession, in my year of practice, I realized that. Number 3 is to have a niche that I'm passionate about. I put the word passionate because even when you have a niche and you're not passionate about it, it will be like probably maybe at a point will come that people want to persuade you to do it, or probably it will get boring to you. There's some people like litigation. I know of a man when I was practicing in Oyo State. Till the very week this man died, he was still in court. So he was passionate, so passionate about litigation, and that is why you find him as at that age, about 90 thereabout, he was still going to court. No retirement, no, it's a private thing, so nobody will put him on compulsory retirement. So when you're passionate about the thing, you see you doing it day in and out. So to have a niche that you're passionate about, like I said, litigation is not the only aspect. However, it is good for you to get the experience. That doesn't mean you can't go into other aspects of law without being into litigation and getting that experience. Is very much possible. But I realized that before I became a lawyer, I never knew that there is a thing called even though in the school, in the university at the Nigerian law school, we get to know, okay, there's this aspect of law, there's commercial law, there's corporate law, there's property and things like that. But it never dawned on me that I should have a niche for myself. And when we talk about having a niche, you still need to be in practice before you know the niche you're passionate about. or probably some people may discover that while at the Nigerian law school. When I was serving, I was thinking I would be so much into property law because I served a part of my 1 year service year. I served with a woman with a firm that is into property law in Edo State. So I was thinking that would be my core. I was even already putting precedents together from our firm, like, okay, when I relocate back to my parents' state, to my state, I would work on that. However, it wasn't, I'm not even in that aspect. I'm not really in that aspect, okay? So basically, carve a niche for yourself. If you're watching this video, carve a niche for yourself or make it something you're passionate about. Don't do it all because of money. Money should be like the secondary reason, but do it because you're passionate about. My fourth point is to balance work and your family or personal life. Balance it. When I started practicing, the firm I joined, which is still the current firm I work with, a very flexible law firm. I realized then that because I'm always just all about work. We have few hands then, so you see me Saturday, Sundays going to work, and I realized that was even affecting me, my personal life. And I can remember one of my friends talking to me like, oh, is it because, as at then I wasn't married, is it because you're not married and you think you can walk day in and out? Like, I'll go to the office very early in the morning to avoid traffic, because then I was staying at in a part of Abuja that's so, like, the traffic is always much in the morning. So I will get to the office as early as, let's say, 7 o'clock and leave late, and Saturday you find me in the office, Sunday you find me in the office. Then I do my YouTube channel too. So that is one of the reasons why I go to the office on weekends. So it makes me understand that it affected my personal life to the extent that my friends noticed it. So before you start practicing, you need to understand that there should be the time to work and then the time for personal and family. I understand the fact that maybe there are some cases, there are some briefs that will be so time conscious that you just need to finish it. Yes, that is understandable, but that doesn't happen every day. Election petition or let's say fundamental, there are some cases like that you just need to be up and doing. You can't leave the process to, okay, I will do it on Monday. And probably it's a busy law firm, but my point in essence is that I did not understand this before practicing, that there should be a time you see, okay, this is when I need to work, this is how I need to schedule my things so that I can finish up my work, and this should not interfere with other aspects of my life. And my fifth point is the fact that while practicing, I got to understand that one should not attach emotion to clients, to briefs. For criminal matters, I realized I attach so much emotion to it, which is not in its entirety bad, because it makes us to see like, okay, we are humans, and you should, for example, pro bono cases, maybe a case of maybe a case that you know that the person could raise reasonable defense, such as self-defense. You know, this person can be exonerated of the crime and things like that. You know, one can actually develop passion, emotion towards it, but it shouldn't be too much to the extent that it will affect you. I did the matter, and while I was discussing it with my boss, he pointed out things I need to do or I ought to do better, and I could see that I carried so much emotion on it. And later on, I realized that there is even another aspect to that matter. So basically, it affected me to the point like about 6 months, I'm only having body over that case, and that made me not even think or work better in another aspect that one could even use in making the best of the case. So it is very important that one should not attach emotions to briefs. So that's another thing I realized or I got to know while practicing, but I did not know before I commenced my practice. The last was not the least, which is the sixth point, is client management. This is also very important. I understand the fact that one can learn on the go or on the job. Like when you're doing a thing, you may not have all the experience or all the knowledge about it, and along the line you pick up experience, like knowledge, learn from mistake and things like that. And that is how I've been able to come up with this 6 points. So client management, like I said, I'm somebody that do attach emotion to briefs. Like, let me see, that was then, okay? So client management, I realize that sometimes there are clients that would for example, there's a matter, we advise the client on the strength and the weakness of the case, but the client will not want to see it in that line. So I do tell clients like, well, you are, let's say you are a doctor or you're an accountant or a pastor, that is your field. And when it comes to your field, I need to respect you. This is my field, and you are briefed us because if you know, you know that we can do this, you know this is what we do for a living. So when we give advice, you should take it. But oftentimes you see that some of those statements may not sit well with a client. So you need to know how best to manage your clients. This may work with some other clients. When you make such statements or such comments, the client will be like, oh, that's true, that's true, that's true. Okay, use your discretion, just advise me on how to go about it, carry me along. You know, there are clients that will just be like, okay, whatsoever you feel it's good, let's do it. But as some clients, they will tell you like, no, do it this way. Some clients will even vet a process and they want you to couch it in the way they want, which, you know, for example, when you're drafting a statement, an affidavit, you know, an affidavit should be, as a lawyer, if you're watching this video, should be statement of facts. In some situation, you see a client saying, draft it this way, draft it that way, which will render such documents invalid. So basically, you just need to know how to manage your client. Don't get, I have a junior in the office that she's so blunt with clients, and she will say things like, before you know it, the entire meeting will just be. So you need to understand that you need skills on how to manage a client. Check the client. If the client, like when you say A, the client is ready to say B and C, there should be a way to handle the client. Just think about the best way to manage the situation at that time, and you know, it won't be of any good if a client is to get annoyed probably by how you manage things, and you feel, oh, you can't tolerate such clients, and the clients debriefed your office. It won't be any good. So I just believe there is a way that you can manage clients. Client management, I did not know, and it cost me like one or two situations whereby I had issues with clients and I had to apologize, even though I wasn't really wrong, but I had to apologize and make amends, and so that the how is it being called now, the relationship can continue. Okay, so that's all I have for you in this video. Please like, subscribe and share.